Meltdowns are not equal, and I know you know this because you've lived through hours of these. So when you sit among fellow moms who are like, yeah, my kid totally has meltdowns too, I can see the wince on your face and your shoulders tense up because what they are describing is nothing like what you are experiencing with your son. In this episode, we are going to get real about what you and I would call a meltdown and 3 ways to reduce them, especially when you're alone. If you're tired of feeling helpless during your son's meltdowns and isolated by the stress it brings to your family, and you want simple steps to open communication, reduce outbursts, and bring more peace to your home, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Cynthia, wife and boy mom. I remember having a child who looked typical, but spent hours falling apart at home. I learned how to stay confident during the stress of meltdowns and build connection without resorting to heavy-handed parenting. If you're ready to reduce the meltdowns and aggressive behavior and finally see that what you're doing is actually helping, then grab my hand. I am the mom you've been waiting to meet. First of all, I want to say that I'm not a psychologist, a doctor, or early childhood professional. However, I have worked with, taught, and cared for children and adults with varying cognitive and physical abilities spanning over 3 decades. But when my son started showing signs of aggression very early on, I felt like nothing had prepared me for such intensity. It was like watching a storm brew. The color in his face changed. My husband and I would say that we could see a glaze come over his eyes, and we felt like we were losing him. Something was stealing him from us. The eruption of pounding fists, kicking, screaming, slapping, spitting, throwing whatever was in reach. It felt unstoppable and could last from 15 minutes to 3 hours. We never really knew. What set it off one day wouldn't be the same another time, and what worked to help him one time wouldn't work again, and we were left scrambling and exhausted. Yes, there can be triggers, and yet it can be virtually unpredictable. This unpredictability can bring much fear and trepidation when you are a stay-at-home mom and you are dealing with this alone, day in and day out. After 20 years of being a mom to sons with multiple diagnoses, these 3 things remain true. As simple as they may seem, we use these strategies time and time again throughout the years. So what actually helps when you're in this day in and day out? First, unstructured time. Daily routines can be very good as both you and your son need to know what's happening next. But in and around that, having open expanses of time where they can dive deep into their interests and imaginations without interruption can be very safe and soothing for them. Bonus, it also gives you time to sip your coffee, hang out laundry, read, put on music, and dance together. That was one of our favorite things to do. The second thing we learned, sometimes the hard way, is this: creating a place to hide. This can be as easy as throwing a blanket up and letting it gently fall on top of him to create a cozy space. A fort out of cushions and blankets works really well, or what we did was a little DIY tent in his room made from sheets and a hula hoop. Not a big investment. Our boys shared a tiny room, so we also put up curtains around the top bunk to make a very snuggly private spot. Something that is always set up or a little more permanent is ideal, because then it's ready to go at the moment your son needs to run and tuck himself in there for a while. They will use it when it's available and instinctively know they need it to help with regulation. And this third one was a game changer in our home, was giving him a soft place to land. We lived in a small house when our boys were young, and 6 months out of the year in Canada, we could easily have a very cold and snowy weather. They loved to jump, roll around, chase, and pretend they were ninjas, and this took a toll on our furniture. Sound familiar to you? There was a set of stairs that led to the basement, but no railing, so you could step kind of partway down a few stairs and then see right into the room below. I wish I could show you a photo, so you kind of know exactly what I mean. But with no railing there, you could just go over the edge to the basement floor. It sounds more dangerous than it actually was because the floor had carpet, And so what we did was put a foam mattress down so the boys could jump from the stairs to the mattress. Not only did this bring much joy, it eliminated my fear as a mom of them falling without protection. It became a delightful game for them, and what they didn't even realize is that it reduced the sensory pressure that would build up in them by just having the sensation and impact of falling and plunking onto the soft mat. Hours and hours of squeals, laughter, and fun. Our guests loved it too. So what could this look like for your son's needs? Take a look around your home for items and ways you could implement the free time, cozy spaces, and places for regulation that are easily accessible each day. It does not have to look exactly like this. Just start what you have and give it a try. And if you're listening to this and thinking, yes, this is exactly what my days look like and feel like, I want you to know you don't have to carry this alone. I've created a private Facebook community just for moms like you. You can come as you are and be met with understanding. The link is in the show notes below. I'd love to see you there. Hey Mama, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share it with a friend who may be on an uphill battle with her son's unique challenges? Also, please leave a quick review for the show on Apple Podcasts. It lights me up to know this podcast is helping you. All right, time to breathe and know that you have everything inside of you to courageously raise your brilliant son. I'll meet you back next week for another episode. Bye.